girls, and welcome back to another episode of Miss McIntosh's Music. Today's lesson will be a short one. We are going to be talking about a Canadian astronaut, Chris Hadfield, and we're going to be reading his book, The Darkest Dark. And after the book, I will be telling you what your assignment is. When I talk about other video links, they will not be in this video. I will just be providing the links in the Google Classroom. So first things first, the book and then the assignment. Here we go. The Darkest Dark by astronaut Chris Hadfield, illustrated by the Fan Brothers, and read with permission by Penguin Random House. Chris was an astronaut, an important and very busy astronaut. When it was time to take a bath, he told his mother, "I'd love to, but I'm saving the planet from aliens." When it was time to get out of the bath and go to bed, he told his father, politely, because astronauts are always polite, "Sorry, no can do. I'm on my way to Mars." An astronaut's work is never done, so astronauts do not like to sleep. But their parents do. "You're a big boy now," said Chris's father. "You have to sleep in your own bed." And Chris tried, he really did, but his room was dark, very, very dark. The kind of dark that attracts the worst sort of aliens. But his parents meant it. Chris was going to sleep in his own bed tonight. His mom and dad checked under his bed and in the closet and even in his underwear drawer. They declared the room 100% alien free. They tucked Chris in, they turned out on the nightlight, they even gave him a special bell to ring when he was nervous. Clang, 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 clang. They took away the bell. And then his father said something that worried Chris even more than the dark did. "One more peep, young man, and I'm afraid we'll all be too tired to go next door tomorrow." But tomorrow would be a special day, a very special day. Chris had to go next door. His life pretty much depended on it. So Chris stayed in his own bed without a peep. It took a long time to fall asleep, but when he did, he had his favorite dream. He flew his spaceship all the way to the moon. The next day seemed to last forever, but finally, when the moon was shining over the lake and the summer wind was ruffling the leaves of the trees, Chris ran next door. The house was already full of people, all gathered around the TV, the only TV on the whole island. Chris found a spot where he could see through the crowd, and what he saw was astronauts, real, live astronauts, on the actual faraway moon. They were wearing puffy white suits and jumping for joy, jumping so high because there's so much less gravity there. The grown-ups huddled around the TV were amazed. Their whole lives long, they never expected to see this sight. Even Chris, who had been to the moon just the night before, was amazed. He never really noticed how dark it was there. Outer space was the darkest dark ever. That night, Chris did a little experiment. He turned off all the lights in his room, even the nightlight. It was still dark, very, very dark. There were still shadows that looked a little, well, alien. Nothing had changed, but Chris had changed. He'd seen the darkness of the universe was so much bigger and deeper than the darkness in his room. But he was not afraid. He wanted to explore every corner of the night sky. For the first time, Chris could see the power and mystery and velvety black beauty of the dark. And he realized you're never really alone there. Your dreams are always with you, just waiting. Big dreams about the kind of person you want to be. Wonderful dreams about the life you will live. Dreams that actually can come true. So here's a little bit about Chris Hadfield. Growing up, Chris Hadfield spent every summer at his family's cottage on Stag Island in southern Ontario. Just about everyone else on the island, the Hadfields, didn't have a television set. So late in the evening of July 20th, 1969, Chris and his family went to a neighbor's cottage to watch the Apollo 11 landing on TV. When he saw Neil Armstrong step onto the surface of the moon, Chris's life changed forever. He knew he wanted to be an astronaut too. At the time, it was impossible. For one thing, he wasn't a grown-up yet. For another, all of NASA's astronauts were American. Canadians weren't even allowed to apply for the job. But Chris decided to start getting ready just in case things ever changed. He worked hard at school, learning everything he could about science, rockets, and space. As a teenager, he learned how to fly gliders, and then after graduating from military college, he became a fighter pilot. Later, he became a test pilot who helped make military aircraft safer. In 1992, almost 23 years after that summer night on Stag Island, Chris's dream came true. The newly formed Canadian Space Agency chose him to be an astronaut. Since then, he has orbited the Earth thousands of times on 3 separate missions. Most recently, Chris was in space for nearly 5 months, from December 2012 to May 2013. When he served as the first Canadian commander of the International Space Station, the ISS. Today, Chris travels the world teaching people about space, sharing the beautiful photographs he took, and playing the songs he recorded on the space station. On summer nights, he likes to sit on his deck on Stag Island, watching for the ISS to pass by overhead. Even in the darkest darks, on a moonless night, the spaceship's light is clearly visible. Here's some pictures about Chris Hadfield. And yes, there's Albert right there. So it was pretty obvious that Chris Hadfield knew that he wanted to be an astronaut from a very young age. But he is more than just an astronaut. He's a father, he's a husband, and he also is a musician. And they kind of hinted to it in the book in some of the illustrations. So something that he did, which was amazing, is he was the first person ever to bring a musical instrument into outer space, and then not only write a song in outer space, play music in outer space, but record a song with people on Earth while he was in outer space. So he wrote a song called the ISS, Is Somebody Singing, while he was on the ISS, the International Space Station. And he recorded it with a singer from the Bare Naked Ladies, a Canadian band, and a choir. And I have linked in the description below that video of him actually performing from the International Space Station. So you will have an assignment to do with that song. It will be a lyric analysis. I will provide questions. So you will have a lyrics for the ISS assignment. And then also I'm providing a link to a live stream from the ISS. So currently right now on YouTube, there's always a live stream going of what our world looks like from the International Space Station. It's super cool, but they've also provided music in the background, just kind of like a calming, neutral piano music. So what your second assignment is I'd like you to watch the video of the live stream and think about a different song or a different type of music that will go along with it. And then tell me why you think that would match with the stream of our world from outer space. So there will be questions to go with that assignment as well. Both will be posted on the Google Classroom. There is the International Space Station assignment and the ISS lyrics assignment, and the ISS pick your own song assignment. Okay, so 2 assignments. They're both due this week. Have fun with them. If you have any questions, you know how to reach me.